Welcome to the Millennial Life Coaches podcast. At MLC, our mission is simple: add value to help you take on massive action towards your life goals. Here, we feature amazing coaches from all over the world, share compelling stories, and discuss proven practices to help keep your energy high and in the flow. Learn more about MLC at millenniallifecoaches.com.
Okay, welcome to another episode of How to Get Ahead, hosted by Millennial Life Coaches. My name is Austin Bradley, one of your hosts today, along with Tanya. Hey, Tanya. All right, and special guest Jennifer.
Hello.
All right. Jennifer, before we get into everything, where are you calling? Where are you calling in from today?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
Okay. You know, I've been to New York one time, and I'm just gonna tell the story real quick.
I was just saying, what are you gonna tell me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's interesting. So I was there. This had to be maybe 10 years back, and I was walking. I think we went to go see the Statue of Liberty out there, and we were walking down like the streets of New York. So this is New York City. And Tanya, when I tell you, I saw the most sketchy food truck imaginable, just on the side of the street. And you know what? I said, I'm going to go for it. So this guy, this guy, he comes with the food tray. It was a couple hot dogs. He throws the relish and the onions and all.
Not
it
the
looked
hot dog
really
one.
good. Yeah, it looked really good. I wasn't sure what to expect, guys, but I bit into it. And when I tell you, it was probably the best hot dog I've ever had in my life. Okay. Can I do it again? I don't know.
Probably not. Yeah, no. Listen, there's been good food trucks even in the neighborhood. Like we have a lot of where I live, there's halal food a lot. There's a big Middle Eastern population, but something about, I don't know how long it's been there. I don't want to make you think, but long story short, my cousins came from Florida one year and they were like, we have to have a hot dog. And I said, sure. And they were like, do you want one? And I said, nope, I'm okay. And his girlfriend was not feeling too well that night. So I rest my case.
Oh my gosh.
So it's hit or miss is what you're saying.
It's 100% hit or miss. Yeah.
Hey, Tanya, you got to put that on your bucket list.
Sketchy
hot dog in New York. Well,
I mean, New York's already on my bucket list. I don't know about the sketchy hot dog side.
Oh man.
If I'm gonna have a hot dog, I'd rather just go to Coney Island and have Nathan's.
Okay.
Just
all right.
saying.
Not a bad choice. All right. So Jennifer, calling out from New York, she is a life coach who specializes in mindset as well as confidence coaching. Now, Jennifer, if you could give the audience a bit of background, how long have you been doing it? What you got into it? We could start there.
Okay, I have a funny story actually. I am a school counselor. I work in a middle school. I've been doing that for the past 9 years now, and that's what I do. That's what I love. In 2020, maybe a little bit before, it was the beginning of 2020, maybe before the pandemic actually hit us. And I was watching $1 Million Listing, and he was on his way to his real estate appointment talking to his life coach in the car. And I was like, what is this? I've heard of the term before, and I was like, he's literally doing what I do every day. What is this? So I started to look things up. Pandemic hit, so we were home, and so it gave me time to kind of research. I ended up getting a message from a life coach that I ended up signing up with on LinkedIn. It's everything worked out divinely. Very weird. So I actually had time to stay home to get certified. I got certified in October, started my business in March of 21, and just have been doing that. And recently, in the past maybe year or two, I pivoted to working with 9-to-5 women and educators. I am one myself, so I noticed that over the years, a lot of us have been leaving the field because we don't feel valued, we're overworked, and it's just not, I think you can go to all the professional developments you want, you can go to therapy, but I think the missing piece, and that's what I try to tell people, is coaching, because it holds you accountable to doing what you need to do to get where you want to be. And my biggest flex, I would say, is it's important to know that you can have more than one passion in life. I am a school counselor. I thought that was the end of my road. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm fine with it. And then I was like, nah, I'm just missing something. I'm meant to do more. I'm meant to help people in in more than one capacity. So that's how I did that. And actually, I'm applying to grad school again to now get my mental health therapist license, hopefully. So it's just always upward and onward and learning and just figuring out how to put all the pieces together. So that's how I got started in coaching.
I love that there was that divine moment of like, oh, we have the time, like this is guided, like you're absolutely in the right place at the right time. Like what a beautiful way to start your coaching journey. Like so
yeah. Yeah, and I think too, like I was always second guessing myself because it's an investment, right? It's an investment financially, it's an investment time-wise, emotionally. But I said, you know what, if I can put my money towards, let's just say you value going on vacation, right? If I can put $2,000 to that, and although I do find value in it, some people may not, I have to shift my mindset to say, I find value in this because it is going to help me in the long run. And I didn't realize how coaching would help me personally. I was focused on helping others, but in the process, it really helped me a lot.
I love that. Like, honestly, I find most coaches, when we get started, that's the piece we don't realize is how much we work on ourselves to get to the point where we can serve others. I would love to hear a little bit about, if you're open to it, some of the lessons that you came up for yourself that you're now able to use with your clients.
So yeah, I like to say that I serve clients just like me. And when I mean that, I say like women, educators, people pleasing, work-life balance, confidence in who you want. And, a lot of people, I remember one day I was in the streets of New York and I was going to a friend's birthday and some girl was like, you look so confident walking down that street. And I said, well, listen, I'm not. I'm in New York and I don't want nobody to talk to me. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna look. But it's just it's a representation that if you put it out there, people only see, right, what you put out. So for me, it's like, I just wanna teach people that no matter what, if you put your mind to it, it will get done. And with coaching is like, yes, I don't want to let myself down, but I also don't want to let my coach down because they're holding me accountable. And I like to coach people who we're just like me, like the people pleasing, feeling confident in your work, starting off in a career and feeling overworked, undervalued, and then realizing that, okay, I have the power to take all that back. So that's how I like to view my coaching.
Oh, I love it. So do you do more one-to-one or are you more group? Tell us about your programs.
So right now I do more one-to-one. I just find more value in that. I started off doing 6 weeks and then I realized quickly like people were doing these changes and then I left them or they left me, it was just too quick. And so I have made my coaching programs, certain ones are 12 weeks and then other ones are like 3 to 6 months. I just feel like there has to be that time frame because you do see the change. And then I always want to leave you better off than the way I met you. There's always like a story I take you through. It's always like, let's figure out what's going on. Okay, let's put things in place so that when you do move forward, you have that foundation to kind of always look back on. And I say, coaching is not going to fix it, but I want to give you the tools to come back to that if you do get off track.
So one thing I do want to mention, so while being a business coach, I just want to kind of touch on my first experience with a coach. So Jennifer, my situation was kind of similar to yours. I mean, I found a coach. It was a high ticket offer, certainly a bit more than, it took me out of my comfort zone, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But you know, Jennifer, I took the massive action. I said, you know what? I'm a coach. Let's get some coaching, see what happens. So I did that. As a coach, I got a coach, which was awesome. And what was interesting about that is because I, you know, put the money up front, and I took this massive action. Like there was kind of like an energy behind it, right? You know, I'm like, I made the investment. I'm going to do this. There is no stopping me. I'm not going to waste my time, my coach's time, my money. So I think that honestly, that probably wouldn't have drove me as far as it did if I didn't, you know, invest in a coach. So I would say,
I think just it's like going to school.
Yep.
You're not going to pay money and fail the class.
exactly.
Right? So
Exactly.
it's the same thing with coaching. And I've had great experiences, and then I've had experiences where, you know, for me now with social media and all these things is like, yeah, I can get you, you know, 10K months in 90 days and XYZ, right? And it's just so alluring.
Hey, sign me up.
Yeah. And it's
Let's
like,
go.
okay, and you know, as a coach, I know the value of coaching, and I know my spending limit, but I also am not going to devalue another coach's like offer. If they tell me it's 7K, if I don't got it, I don't got it. I'm not going to waste your time. That's not where I want to be, right? So and it's interesting because I think as coaches we need to focus more on the ideal client that we want. The money will come, and I think me personally, I ended up hiring 2 business coaches. One I did a while ago, and I quickly realized it wasn't a fit. I'm the type of person that needs to be nurtured. I need one-on-one, and I need to know that you have my best interest in hand and you're taking me where I need to go. This was super fast-paced, quick. And I realized like I love social media, but I also need a balance. So that was that. I did learn, so I'm not going to take, I'm going to take something from it because I did learn. And then my current business coach was Hailey Rowe.
Hailey, all right.
Yeah, Hailey is so funny. When I started coaching, you know, everyone was like, don't worry about the website, it'll come XYZ. And then I came from a world of like, no, you have to get your license. You have to, like, there has to be a thing you need to follow. And coaching is very flexible, and I had to get used to that. So I remember having a call with Hailey about maybe getting like a website design or something. And it was one of her employees, and they told me the price and I almost died. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this. And then I ended up just following her, and she gives such good, you know, business advice, and just her little lives. Like it was great. Fast forward now, I think I was in an email back and forth with you. You put us together, and I was like, okay, I know who Hailey is. And then I sat with her, and I was like, yep, okay, sign me up. I'm going to figure it out, but sign me up. And you know, she's exactly who I needed at the time. She pushed me. I this month am presenting at a workshop for school counselors. So last year I bit the bullet and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. It didn't work out for whatever reason it did, but I had a table. This year, beginning of December, I was telling her about it, and she's like, okay, you have to do it. And I was like, I don't know. And she goes, no, you're gonna sign up for it. Signed up for it, fine. And she's been walking me through the whole thing. But it's just interesting, again, that divine time of how everything is supposed to be processed, and you just need that kick sometimes.
Hi, my name is Hailey Rowe, and I am a marketing and sales coach and strategist for wellness professionals, coaches, and service providers. And MLC has been a great organization to be a part of. I enjoy their directory service and membership service. Basically, they have connected me with potential clients. They've connected me with a great mentor and friend who I'm still in touch with, and we met, I think, a year or two ago. And they are just naturally connectors, very resourceful in giving you support in your coaching business. And I'm really excited to see where they go, because already their directory is high in search results, which is important to me when I'm thinking about a directory to be a part of. And I really appreciate the mission they have for coaches, which is helping you succeed in working with people and making your impact. So thank you, MLC.
That's beautiful, and congratulations on the workshop. That's
Thank you.
What topics are you covering? Let's shift back to you a little bit more here.
Okay, so we are calling it the Resilient School Counselor. How to stay resilient in a time of so much changes. So obviously I'm in New York. We've had a big influx of migrants and teachers. It's hard. I have one teacher, a sixth grade teacher, math teacher, who translates her lessons in 9 different languages. So,
wow. Hopefully she's getting that bonus.
She's not, but
okay.
Goodness. So in that instance, imagine you're getting a new student almost weekly. You can't really talk to them. You're talking through them with, Google Translate or like somehow some translation device. You're trying to get them. You don't know their journey and how they got here. And you have to teach them this curriculum. How are you supposed to teach them when sometimes these students have missed already 2 years of schooling? And so that then turns into, since I can't teach these kids, I'm at fault now. Now I feel like my value as a teacher is decreasing. And so through that, I had to let her know, like, that's not true. You're doing the best that you can. You cannot do anything with the children that are coming. Like, you can't fix the past. You just have to do the best that you can and just move forward and let them know, especially with children that come, it's more of just, I see you. You're here, you showed up, great. Because I can't imagine going to school and not knowing what is going on, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you burn out. I mean, just trying to figure it all out. Jennifer, I think you are in a very critical coaching niche. Sounds like overwhelm is serious, especially where you are. And the 9-to-5 kind of work-life balance. That's really a thing that we need to be more conscious of.
Yeah. And so with the resilience, it's more of just teaching. And it's not just that, it's also just finding value. You can't equate your value to your work. Sometimes the work we do just isn't tangible, right? Like I don't know if I'm doing a good job unless a kid is like, thank you, you helped me. And that doesn't happen all the time. They'll show it in different ways, right? They might come to me every lunch period because they're comfortable. Okay, I'll take it. But a lot of this stuff is not tangible. And so I think when you're the type of person who needs evidence to say, I'm doing a good job, that then translates to like, I'm insecure because I'm not doing a good job, if that makes sense. And like we have, issues with administration, with kids, with parents, like there's so many things. And so I came up with something called the 3 R's for this workshop. And it's called Retract, Reset, Result. So basically when you're in that moment, I want you to retract. I want you to think outside, like picture yourself almost your outer body looking at the situation. And then reset. Think about how you want this to go. How many options do you have? And then result. Do the one that you think is best. And that can be taken in, in any point in your life with any subject.
Yeah. That's really powerful for our listeners because those are very tangible tools that we can use in any moment.
So the retract, reset, result, are we doing that to kind of take a step back, look at everything, and then select certain maybe priorities? Is that kind of how that's framed?
Yeah, because think about it. If you have a typical day, I might come in, I might write my to-dos of what I want to do. I'll see my students, but then maybe I can't see that one student because somebody had a crisis, or a parent came out of nowhere to come talk to me, and then the parent curses me out, or it could just be a flow of so many things, and we're human too. And so instead of reacting to something, it's best to just kind of like pull yourself back and think about, like, is this something that is a reflection of me, or is this person going through something else, or is this situation deeper than my initial reaction, right? If a parent comes in frustrated, it's like, okay, they may be yelling at me, but it's not my direct problem. They're frustrated because of who knows how many other steps they've been through.
That's awesome. It's almost like you have to be conscious of fundamental attribution errors, because you have no idea what anybody is going through and dealing with.
Yeah.
So just kind of take that kind of empathetic approach to the situation.
For sure.
This 3 R's, it's almost in a sense, retract, I wrote it down here, reset and result. You're almost prioritizing yourself, right? I mean, it's, instead of trying to chase down all these fires, you're taking a step back and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, this is where I'm at. What makes the most sense. And, actually, Jennifer, I was following one of your stories, and you mentioned something about it's not selfish to set boundaries, and it's not selfish to say no. Would you mind maybe providing a bit more context on that one? But it was a very powerful stance.
Yeah, I think when we're in this type of work, I think everyone needs to realize that they have some component of a people pleaser attribute, because you want to help, you want to fix. And so I think you get to a point where there's not enough in your cup to give out anymore. And so with this acronym, it's like, maybe I'm going to come to work and maybe I'm 10%. So what does that look like for me? That may look like I write all these to-dos. Okay, so today I'm just going to do the top priority. I'm just going to do like the top things that I need to do. I remember, so I'm a bilingual food counselor. I speak Spanish. And I remember...
Are you getting a bonus, Jennifer? Bonus? No.
I remember just people coming up to me constantly, can you translate? Can you translate? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I was like, no. One day I said, no, I cannot. I cannot. Because when I have to get someone to translate in a different language, other than the people that are in this building, I have to call a number, dial out, get a translator, and call the parent. Yes, it's easier to come and ask me, but now you're taking me out of my zone. And once you take me out of my zone, I get very frustrated, I get very flustered, and then it takes me a while to then get back into my zone. So I think people, it's more of like, what can people get out of you in that moment? And although you want to help, there has to be a boundary where you're just like, okay, well, this is not direct with my job. So I can't do it now, I could do it later, kind of thing. But that's in respect to anyone's life, whether you're in a relationship, your kids, work, you can get overworked very quickly with taking on so many tasks, because the idea of feeling like you have to, it's this idea in your head that you've created because you want to be someone that's like, well, I want, my counterparts to know. I want my boss to know I'm doing a good job. What makes you feel like they don't think that already? So I think it's the feeling of yourself thinking. So you have to work on that part.
Love that. Because the people pleasing almost takes us into that rescuing. And when we're constantly putting other people ahead of ourselves and rescuing them, we're not empowering them to actually learn it for themselves.
Exactly.
So interesting, that cross connection that's there.
Yeah, Jennifer, I think, I had a cup, and, I used to like to fill my cup all the way to the brim, and then sometimes that cup would overflow. So learn that lesson a little later. It's all right to say no to that client, that wants it, and it's just not the right fit, or just say no to maybe that opportunity at work, you're already slammed, with the
Yeah.
9 to 5. You can't do 9 to 6. And I used to do the 9 to 6, actually 6 to 6, but that's a whole different story. I got out of that lifestyle. No, Jennifer, this has been great. For the audience out there listening, how do they connect with you, and how do they get in touch?
Yeah, so my email is jgrace, so that's JGRACE, at coachingwgrace.com, or my Instagram is coaching_with_grace, or they can find me on the Millennial Directory.
Jennifer, that's awesome. That's awesome. Before we kind of close out here, there's one more thing I want to go back to. So I've always heard this thing, it's called like the New York swag, right? And you were mentioning kind of, you walk down the street and, there's a certain walk, certain kind of attitude. Is that swag a result of people in New York just not wanting to be bothered?
So I think that's a misconception.
Okay, all right.
Because I was the type of person, I am born and raised here. So I was on the train, the bus, all that. I stopped after 2020 because I ended up buying a car and it was just easier. And quite frankly, I was pretty scared, which is so ironic because I would be on the train at 2 a.m. But that's a whole different story. Would I do that now? No. But and people would be like looking for directions or anywhere, and I was always like, where do you have to go? Like, I'll help you. So I think that's a misconception. But the swag, it's so funny because I was watching an interview and this guy was saying, I don't care if you've lived here for 15 years, you are not a New Yorker. And I think it's something about being here, being born here. It's a sense of pride. It's just like a thing where it's like, I'm from here. It's a different sense of living. It's a vibe. But yeah, I think we are very nice people. At least I think I'm a very nice person.
All right. You heard it first from Jennifer. New Yorkers are okay and their hot dogs are phenomenal. So.
Most of the time.
That's
Most
what
of the
Austin
time.
thinks, but
All right. At your own risk, guys. At your own risk. All right, guys, this has been great. We'll go ahead and close it. And again, to the audience out there, you don't have to be a coach to make a positive impact. Just pick that person, make a positive impact in their day, and that really aligns to the MLC mission. All right, so till next time, everyone, take care.
thank you. Bye.